Okay, nice creek. Can I, okay, so can I start this one off with a question?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Do you ever have that moment when you're like watching a movie and you were like 100% convinced, like, I've never seen this movie before, like there's no way ever I would know if I watched this. I did not watch it.
Yeah.
And then while you're watching, you're kind of a little bit like, parts of this are coming back to me. Like, I'm kind of getting some vague, this is kind of coming, and you're like, wait, did I watch Signs? And you're like trying to remember what it was, like what parts of it they saw, and then you realize like, nope, I'm thinking of Scary Movie 3. I definitely saw Scary Movie 3. And there's a lot of overlap. And so have you ever had like a fake movie deja vu where you thought like you saw this before and then you're like, I didn't see The Godfather. I saw like this movie making a reference to The Godfather. Does that ever happen to you?
I can't think of a specific example, but I don't think that's too far-fetched.
And follow-up question, have either of you seen Scary Movie 3?
No.
I've seen specifically, what do you call it? I've seen like a cut of the movie specifically around the sheriff where her hat gets bigger every time. But that's pretty much it.
I mean, that is a solid bit, but I think watching this movie, first made me wish that I saw it back when it came out and got to partake in like the science hype. Like watching this made me wish I wasn't 7 and that I like had my own taste in movies and I watched this at the time it came out.
Yeah.
But the other half just made me want to rewatch Scary Movie 3 because I did definitely see Scary Movie 3 on Comedy Central a few times as a kid. And a lot of it was coming back while I was watching this movie. Especially the fact that I don't know exactly when that movie came out. It was like 2004 or something. It was like a year or two after this one. Back then, the fact that they had the Mel Gibson character played by Charlie Sheen was like pretty solid casting on their part. Now in the year 2025, that is like near divine. That is like transcendent casting. That they're doing their parody of this movie and they're like, who do we put in for Mel Gibson? And they chose Charlie Sheen. They nailed it with that one. I'll just give them props to the Scary Movie people.
Someone really knew what they were doing.
Someone was on to something. Someone was years ahead of their time.
We're packing hot dogs for the road.
That's exactly what the nerds want.
A friend got burned.
But anyway, Signs. We can actually talk about
Signs.
Signs.
Yeah.
Signs.
I've never seen Signs.
The signs are out there.
Also,
I never saw Signs before.
Going into this, I had like a very wrong-headed idea of what this movie was.
Yeah?
So we're getting into, so we already said, I'm going to start 7 sentences like I usually do and make this a nightmare to edit. I just edited back to back like 2 episodes that were one recording, and I really did not like myself when I was editing that stuff because my speech pattern is insufferable when I'm trying to edit. It is the worst.
If only you were a professionally trained public speaker. Lean on.
It is the worst.
So what's the one thought that's coming out in 7 different
The one thought
sentences?
that's coming out is that so this movie came out when we were 7, right? Like you said.
Yeah.
And so by the time I cared about movies, M. Night was in his flop era. And so I had just been told that all of his movies suck. And so I thought this movie was going to suck. And it doesn't. And I really liked it. It's not amazing. It's not incredible. But it's solid. And I enjoyed watching it. And I had always just like actively avoided it because I thought it was going to be terrible because M. Night's name was on it. And it's from like this era of M. Night. And also it's like more of like a suspense thriller, almost a horror movie thing. And so I just had a really wrong-headed idea of what it was. I knew nothing about the plot. I just thought it was going to be really bad. And I was very pleasantly surprised.
Nice. Okay, Hans, what was your background? And then I'll give us like a 20-second recap for everyone.
I knew vaguely the premise. That's pretty much it. I liked it. It was slow.
Yes.
It was a very slow movie. A lot of suspense. A lot of suspense that dragged out for a really long time.
Yeah.
Very slow.
We might kind of be on opposite sides here.
Bro, hey, back to form.
Yeah, back to... Okay. Well, not... Thread the needle. Okay. So, yeah, real quick. So, in case you somehow don't know, if you haven't seen Signs or if you haven't seen Scary Movie 3, the half of Scary Movie 3 that relates to Signs, a man lives on a farm with his younger brother. and his 2 kids. He used to be, it says online, an Episcopal priest, I believe. I don't remember if the movie ever actually says
They
his.
don't. They only refer to him as a, quote, reverend. A reverend.
He just wears like priest gear. And they call him like father.
They call him father several times.
Yeah.
And he refers he refers to himself as a former reverend.
He was a clergy. He was a member of the
I
cloth.
think it's like intentionally vague.
Yeah. His wife was killed in an automobile accident. She was struck as a pedestrian, so he's given up the faith. They're just living on the farm, and they wake up, whoa, there's a crop circle out there. Because crop circles are a thing. That's pretty wild. And then, like Hans said, you have like the suspense, this mystery of like, hey, wait a minute, there's like lights in the sky. Like, we think something's going on. There was like something weird in Brazil, I guess. And then, yeah, it turns out there's aliens. Like, you straight up just get like an alien on the cable news. And they're pretty much just kind of like figuring out how to navigate this as it's happening until they hide down in the basement. Because, like, okay, the aliens are doing their big attack. Like, we gotta hide. And there is an alien, like, nearby. They survive the night. They think they're safe. They think they're in the clear. And they come out. Oh, no, alien's still there. And remembering his wife's, like, final words, he tells his brother, who used to be, like, a minor league baseball player, like, you should beat the shit out of that thing with a baseball bat.
That's how you defeat the aliens, by the way.
I don't know. That's why I don't know why his wife's last words were that specific. But like, hey, you should take that guy out with a baseball bat, and he does.
I think her last words were something along
the
the
baseball
lines
bat
it
of
takes like
water.
4 minutes.
Swing for the fences or something like that.
Yeah, it was like
Meryl.
take the swing away. Yeah.
Meryl. That's right.
Yeah.
And they defeat the alien and they survive. And it's also, there's more, like, the one kid almost dies and the kid doesn't die. So then he, like, finds his faith again and he decides to rejoin the clergy. That's pretty much what you need to know, I think.
Well, so it's important that the kid survives because he has asthma.
Yes, but I was trying to do the 20-second recap, not the, okay. Oh, and then did you know they go to the pharmacy and this girl starts talking to him about all these confessions.
No, because the reason
he sees it as like
gets his faith back is because he recognizes that my son has suffered, but it's because of his suffering that it saved, like, his suffering saved his life.
Yeah,
that's what brought.
He sees it as like an intervention of higher power. Yes. That, like, because his lungs were closed, he didn't breathe in this poison gas that the alien has. By the way, the aliens have poison gas.
By the way,
see, this is the problem when we try to do a 20-second recap. Is I wish I spent the time to tell you, well, the aliens can turn invisible and they have poison gas.
I get it. You're right. There's a middle ground. We're gotta find that middle ground. Yeah. We're working on it. We're getting there.
But 50 episodes in, you'd think we'd find that middle ground.
Nah, we're getting there. But yeah, it is a slow burn. It is a thriller. You are seeing little glimpses of aliens throughout the whole movie. Just little, I think that's a leg out in the cornfield. And there's something on the news. And you don't full body see the alien until the last like 10-15 minutes. And it gets like beaten by a bat like 5 seconds later. Like, that's your exposure to the aliens. That's pretty much, the thing. How do we want to talk about like the response at the time? Just our general thought?
Well,
can we do what we usually don't do? Can we start with M. Night Shyamalan's influence, directional,
yes.
like...
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
we usually kind of close on that. I kind of want to focus on that here because it's interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Can I talk about
No, go for it.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, the first one, the big one that sticks out to me, we have talked multiple times, we have mentioned over and over and over again that M. Night Shyamalan just wants to write movies where a character can like look at another character and say, I feel this way.
Yes. Yeah.
And he does that here a lot, but it works. For me, at least, It really works. This whole movie is a character being like, yo, this is what happened and this is how I feel about it. And I'm like, yes.
Okay. And I'm glad you had the same thought because it does and it works here. But it works here because the dialogue is natural. It's not like they all of these characters do just say their feelings out loud and they do just tell everybody exactly what they're thinking. But it's not in a way these people aren't concepts. This is the problem we have with later movies. These people aren't concepts. They're people. They're people with lives and other people in their family that they care about. And so when they talk about their feelings, like, it works. It makes sense. And it's just so different. It's like, wow, he can do it, right? He can write dialogue that makes sense because he did write this, right?
Yeah.
Written, directed, and produced by. Yeah. So it's like he can. This is I say all the time we're doing this wrong. We're going backwards. So we're seeing it in reverse. So having this revelation now isn't much of a revelation. I get that.
Well, no, it's like we've existed with modern language, and then we are now just like, thousands of years later finding the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
We are existing with like current M. Night Shyamalan, and now we're archaeologically finding
Yeah.
you know, the past M. Night civilizations.
I
The
think
glorious, the fallen empire we're digging through right now.
well, and I think we've talked before in some other movies about like having a crutch that helps him do, and I don't think it's necessarily like a crutch. I think crutch is a bad word. That's a word that I used. I don't think that's like the right word. I'm still trying to figure out what this is. But I think one of the things that really helps him accomplish it in this movie is that the main character, Mel Gibson, is a man dealing with high concepts. Like his entire identity is based around his relationship to abstract concepts. And so when he's talking to his brother, he can talk about, like, those are really normal conversations to have with your brother about things like faith, right? If you're a religious minister who's lost his faith, then it's normal to have direct conversations and just state out loud how you feel about concepts like faith and truth and providence. And then also, a lot of the dialogue is delivered to children, which
To children and by children.
and by children. So the way that you're going to communicate to children is going to be more explicit than the way you communicate to adults, and the way that children are going to communicate to adults is more explicit than adults communicate with adults, right? So I think there are like story elements here that really help his explicit dialogue feel a lot more natural. I will also say that even without those things, I do think the dialogue here feels a lot more natural than other movies. Like definitely more natural than like Lady in the Water.
Well, yeah, Lady in the Water was like a kid's fable he wrote to write into a movie.
Yes,
like,
It was also a giant FU to his previous producers or something.
Yeah.
No, yeah, so I absolutely agree. It also, I mean, it does help that like every character kind of has one of those. It's actually weirdly enough, I was just watching Independence Day recently, and it struck me as very similar, where it's the type of movie where it helps to give a character a very clear struggle and a very clear resolution by the end.
Yes.
Here is a minor league guy who did not live up to his potential of hitting things with baseball bats, and hey, look at his resolution. He gets to hit a thing with a baseball bat really good.
Okay, but I have a thing
like
about
here
that.
is this kid that is like, you know, struggling with his asthma, and then hey, actually that like saves him in the end. Like, you know, here's a person struggling with his faith. Here is literally a higher power, an unknown force coming down and like validating his faith in a way. And then I'm sure the little girl has something. I don't remember. I'm sure she has a thing.
That was the water.
She doesn't like drinking the water, and then the water saves them. I don't know if that's as strong as the others, but that's if that works for you, that works for you.
Well, it's because she's like super picky about water, and she leaves like dozens of glasses of water all over the place. That's what finally kills the alien.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's break each of those down like one by one, because they're they're important.
Yeah.
But so the daughter, their thing with water, she like Aaron just said. Sorry, I don't mean to repeat, but she leaves dozens of glasses of water all around the house because she doesn't like the way they taste after they've been out for a certain amount of time, and it's like actually done pretty well. Like her dad goes around and like goes to clean them up and just like sighs, and he's like, whatever, I might as well just leave them. And that ends up being it turns out that these aliens are like, they get fried by water.
Their skin reacts violently with water.
It is the universal solvent, so you know.
The reason humans are able to fight back is because they figured this out and they start spraying them with fire hoses, and the aliens retreat, right? But this particular alien that invades their particular house is foiled because they just start throwing glasses of water that are all over the house on this guy. And then Meryl beats the crap out of him with a baseball bat, but it takes for freaking ever. But then, like you said, Aaron, you wanted to explain more in detail about the son. What's his deal? Why is asthma important?
So the son's deal is asthma. And he has like frequent asthma attacks, and he needs an inhaler. And there's a scene, actually kind of one of my favorite scenes, that he and his dad, Mel Gibson, are down in the basement like waiting out this alien attack, and he has an asthma attack in the basement. They don't have his inhaler.
They're barricaded.
And so his dad just like holds him against his chest and tells him to breathe like him, and they just like have to ride it out. And so as they're riding out this alien attack, they're just riding out this asthma attack at the same time.
That scene goes on for a bit.
It goes on for like an uncomfortable amount of time, which is by design.
That
like,
one I don't. That one I don't have an issue with. That had a purpose to go on for an uncomfortable amount of time.
Yeah, that scene is made to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, in a good way.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Well, and that plays into the theme of that plays into like Mel Gibson's theme So Mel Gibson's character, which I want to do last because I think he's the most complicated. He's obviously the main character. He's the most complicated.
He's the kind of crux. He's the core.
glue. But his relationship with his son, in particular, is the thing that like really changes his whole idea on faith and makes it click that suffering is not meaningless. So in that scene when he's holding his son, he's like yelling at God, like, why you're making my son suffer this way? Like, why would you do this? And then just a few minutes later, his son has another asthma attack as they're looking for his inhaler, and then they're like actually attacked by an alien, and the alien sprays this poison gas out of like a wrist needle thing.
Yeah, he likes Spider-Man's gas in the beginning.
Yeah. he can Tobey Maguire Spider-Man gas at stuff.
The power scaling on the aliens is we'll get into that.
And so the reason his son is alive and saved from the alien gas is because he was in the midst of an asthma attack and could not breathe. So he couldn't inhale. He was incapable of inhaling the gas, and that's what saved his life. And so if it were not for that suffering, he would have died. Now, that's the plot thematic element in there. If it were not for that suffering, then he would have died. If he were like perfectly healthy, normal, it would have killed him. I think. We don't actually know what the poison gas does. We never see it do anything.
We can assume it's not good.
Assume it's not good.
I think it's a pretty fair. I think the movie can trust us to make that leap of inference, you know?
Yeah. I think Meryl actually is kind of the weakest of all of these.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have things to say about that.
Okay,
Would you like to say them now?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Sure, I guess I don't have that many things. So his character in the beginning of the movie, throughout the movie, his character is actually really interesting and very
I like him.
So he is a failed minor league baseball player, right? He what did they say? He was really good at see, I can't remember now. He was really good at like striking out, but he was
so every time he hit the ball, it was a home run, but he would swing at everything and was frequently
that's what it was.
He couldn't do like the mind games, like the duel, the face off between pitcher and hitter.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what it was.
He just knew how to swing hard.
Yeah, and he could nail it, but he would still swing at everything. You're right. Cut out some of that. So he don't shake your head at me. No, so he couldn't hack it as a baseball player, so he came back home to like help his brother with the farm and help raise their kids, which is awesome. It's super nice of him, right? So he lives like in a sort of like a guest house or something, like in a loft above their barn or something. And at the moment that there's any kind of, they hear noise, they think it's like neighbor kids messing with them. Turns out it's the alien, whatever. He's up and at him, like he's there to protect the kids. In town, he's sort of ashamed of his profession. There are people that make fun of him, and it's like he's a really interesting character. And when the aliens start to become like more known, he like gets really into it and is doing like research and
really
trying
obsessive.
like he's like obsessed over it and watching the TV in the closet so they don't like the TV, all the news doesn't upset the kids. It's like really, really interesting. And then
he like Harry Potter's himself under the stairs.
Yeah. And then his moment, you have this like crazy sequence of flashbacks to Mel Gibson's wife's death, where M. Night Shyamalan hit her and crashed into a tree and pinned her up against a tree.
Yes,
we'll talk about that.
M. Night Shyamalan fingerprint. He definitely has a cameo in this.
Yeah, he definitely has a cameo. We'll talk about that, but. Her last word, like through this crazy long sequence of flashbacks, her last words were "swing away, Meryl," and you sort of are led to think that that's just like either senseless, metaphor, sort of senseless. Maybe her brain just sort of let loose as she was about to die. You know, it's
so that's what Mel Gibson thinks, is that she was just losing it as she was dying.
Right. I'm not describing it particularly well, but you get the idea. Yeah. And then at the end, it's like, oh no, this was actually a prophecy. She knew, or some sort of higher power knew, that there was going to be an alien in their living room at this one particular moment. And Mel Gibson looks at his brother while this alien is holding this child in the middle of an asthma attack. This alien's just standing there waiting to get hit with the baseball bat. And Mel Gibson looks at his brother and says, swing away, Meryl. And you have this panning back and forth to baseball bat on the wall to Meryl, to baseball bat on the wall to Meryl, to baseball bat on the wall, and he like slowly reaches over and grabs this baseball bat, and over the course of like 5 minutes, this alien idiot just lets himself get the absolute beat out of him. and the water thrown on him and everything. Doesn't do anything to save himself. Makes no sense. The whole end just fell completely flat for me. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid.
It was very funny.
I don't think the message of the movie was canonically his wife saw the future and knew he was going to have to hit an alien with a baseball bat.
What was
I think
it
it
then?
still works. Okay. Because metaphorically, so he has this strength. He has this ability to be a protector, but like he doesn't always know how to use it, and he like freezes up.
The Guardian.
So when he thinks it's the neighbor boy, he'll go running in. Hey, we're gonna go run. We're gonna chase this kid. We're gonna scare the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it's the alien, he locks
You have to
himself
run
in the
around in
closet
circles and
just
yell
watches
obscenities.
cable news. Yeah. But as soon as it's like, oh, it's this crazy, scary thing that I'm not equipped for, like, you know, going from the minor leagues to the big leagues, I freeze up. I can't actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, swing away. It's like, hey, your strength is being able to, like, you know, like,
Just get in there.
lean into your strength. Don't freeze up. Don't get psyched out. Don't fall for the mind games. She was not having visions of aliens in their living room and saying, you should take
Okay.
7 minutes to beat up an alien.
Okay,
She doesn't-
That's fair. That's a very
It's
fair
not
assessment.
necessarily that she understood what she was saying. That's not the point. It's that what she said, whether she understood it or not, had value.
Okay.
And she does also, she says things for the other family members. I'm pretty sure, like, in the movie itself, you hear her words relating to, like, 2 of them. I think, like, they said in, like, cut extra scenes or something, she, like, said something about all of them. Like, she said something for the daughter and all, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't just Meryl. She said something like, hey, Mel Gibson, be a good guy and keep your faith. I don't know. She says something to him, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, hey, you swing away, and hey, son, do this. Like,
Yeah. No, I get it. It's that then you're right. It's just the whole thing. That whole sequence.
I will agree. The ending sequence. Maybe this is another. I'm gonna keep us on topic. The M. Night Shyamalan fingerprint. I'm just like, I see the message you're going for. I see the theme, and I see, like, you know, how you're executing on it. It is a little, yeah.
I just spent an hour and a
Execution-wise.
half watching this movie. I was interested. It was kind of slow, but it was slow, suspenseful, right? And then at the very end, it's just like you threw me off a cliff into the rocks. I was very unhappy with the ending of this
so
movie.
we're not quite as opposite as I thought. But let's real quick. The M. Night, we gotta stay with the
Yeah,
M. Night
yeah.
Shyamalan
Yep.
fingerprints, the hallmarks. So the dialogue,
Yes.
the thematic storytelling. We mentioned it, the cameo. M. Night Shyamalan cameos as the man that killed Mel Gibson's wife.
Very different from
He's
Lady
like
in the
town
Water.
or something.
Very different.
Yeah. He was driving home. He wasn't drunk or anything. He was just very tired. He worked a long shift, and she was walking, and he hit her with the car, and she was like pinned against a tree.
Yeah.
And so he is still living nearby, and at one point in the movie, he and Mel Gibson like very briefly interact, and then later he calls Mel Gibson to be like, "Hey, there's like an alien trapped." Yeah, he doesn't call him to say that alien trapped his pantry. I don't know. He calls him like, and Mel Gibson goes over to his house, and the guy's like, "Hey," and M. Night Shyamalan is like, "I think the aliens are weak to water, so I'm again talking just saying things." I think these aliens are weak to water, so I'm going to go to a lake. By the way, there's one trapped in my pantry, and drives away.
Yeah.
And then he appears in the flashback. That's his. So it's still more than a cameo. Like he's
an important character.
supporting
Character, yeah.
Yeah. But that's his appearance that he causes Mel Gibson's crisis of faith,
Yes.
which basically the complete opposite of Lady in the Water, where he is like the moral savior.
Yeah.
Anything else on his cameo? I don't.
I am continually impressed by his acting skills, actually.
That's not the impression I got from this movie, but
Like, I usually, like writer, director, producers, I expect them to be terrible when they show up in their own movies. M. Night's fine. Not incredible. He's fine. He's pretty good. I was not distracted by his acting. I think it fits in the movie that he wrote.
That's what I would agree with. Yes, it fits in a movie that he wrote. He's very good at writing movies for him.
Yeah.
in a movie of some pretty solid performances, he is not the strongest.
No.
I didn't watch it and think he would probably get cast in this completely regardless of his role directing and writing it. Like, it wasn't terrible. It was probably the weakest one in the movie.
I mean, I guess, but there are only like 8 characters in the whole movie.
Yeah, that's fair. It was funny that your impression was, oh, he's actually pretty good at this. My impression was, okay.
He's fine.
If you want to appear in your own movie, I'm not going to tell you not to, but like,
He's fine.
He's
I
fine.
mean,
you could have cast someone stronger.
They don't make him act against Joaquin Phoenix, which was smart.
That's smart.
Probably a good move.
Although they do make him act against
Mel
Mel
Gibson.
Gibson, who is in a different weight class.
Yes. This is true.
I was watching this and thinking like, wow, it's really unfortunate about all the Mel Gibson's because he's like I'm like, watch this, like, oh, he's like a charismatic, fun on-screen presence. Like, I can see why they were just like putting him in Mad Max and What Women Want and like they were putting him everything because he was just he's charming. It's a shame about
all that.
Well, also, one thing that was really distracting when I was watching this movie is when the son, Morgan, was on screen. I'm like, that's a Culkin, but I don't know which one.
Yes.
Yep.
Because I'm like, that can't be
screen,
Macaulay
and I'm like,
Culkin. He's way too
no,
young.
he appears, and I'm like, that's one of the Culkins you don't see that often. That's one of the Culkins you don't know, but it's a Culkin.
It was definitely a Culkin. He looks like one.
Definitely a Culkin.
It's Rory Culkin, by the way, who I believe is the youngest.
That's not
Culkin.
Home Alone. That's not Succession, but it's one of them.
It's one of them. They got that Culkin face.
Any other Shyamanisms?
I mean,
I
don't think we can talk about any more of the. Well, there are a few. So like, there are some weird side characters who say just like some completely off the wall stuff. So at one point,
the army recruiter.
yeah, Meryl goes to the army recruitment office.
Yes.
So Meryl, like, he doesn't know what to do with his life.
Yes.
He's having this crisis. He hasn't known what to do with his life for a long time, and I don't think he's like seriously considering joining the army. He just wants to consider life paths.
I mean, if you've lived in rural Pennsylvania, you've walked into an army recruiter's office, and you're a young man, you've been in an army recruiter's office at some point. It's just inevitable.
Oh yeah, it takes place in Bucks County,
like you just end up there.
Of course.
Yes.
Which is very funny. But so he walks into the army recruiter's office, and the army recruiter never closes his mouth.
No, he's great. Franklin Sergeant, like Cunningham, whatever. He's great.
So he just has his mouth open, just a little bit open the entire time. And he says this. I wrote down some of the lines that were in this movie because they're really great.
Oh, you had to write down his.
I had to write down his. So he doesn't immediately recognize Joaquin Phoenix. He doesn't immediately recognize Meryl until there's like some other delinquent in the army recruiter office who identifies him and starts making fun of him and says, "Oh, why didn't you like go into the pros?" He says, I quote, "Why weren't you in the pros making stacks of cash and getting your toes licked by beautiful women?"
Okay, but the delivery is the other half of that equation. The just reading off of
I'm not a great
notes
actor.
Delivery does not. No, because this guy is saying it with 100% earnestness is the thing you just need to know. Why weren't you in the pros making stacks of cash and getting your toes licked by beautiful women?
Like, why? Why are you talking to me?
That's the truest thing in his mind. That's the truest thing he's ever said. Yeah. He can't imagine a reality where that's not the case.
Yeah, like for this character, you get the distinct impression that if he had the ability, that's what he would be doing right now.
He'd be getting his toes licked by beautiful women. Yes.
He does not. He is only doing what he does because he thinks it's all he can do. And so once he recognizes Meryl has like something in him, he's basically like, "Get out, go do that."
Yeah. Or just like, what went wrong? Why didn't you do that?
Something
like,
something terrible had to have happened.
Yeah.
So there are some like.
No, he is great. I love that scene.
There are some great sort of secondary characters here.
I mean, even just Cherry Jones as like the cop, like
Yes.
she's just like a fun recurring, and like she does a good job.
She does.
Hat's not nearly big enough.
Hat's not really big enough. And the when Mel Gibson goes to the pharmacy and this girl's
one of
just
my
like,
favorite
"Hey, father,
scenes.
can I do confession?"
I think that's my favorite
and
scene.
he's like, "I'm not." He's like, "Stop calling me father, I'm not." And she just like starts like, and then I was like kissing this guy by the bleachers. Like, she's great. Like, again, just she's only in that one scene. She doesn't materially affect the plot, but just her talking and Mel Gibson's completely like resigned, like face the entire time.
He tells her over and
perfect.
over, I'm so really sorry. I'm so sorry. I just don't have time. And she says, "Yeah, but I really need to talk to you right now," in the line at the drugstore.
I cannot tell you how personally seen I felt. How understood.
M. Night Shyamalan was writing for you.
I have a whole lot to say. We haven't gotten to Mel Gibson's character yet, but I have a whole lot to say about
Yeah.
that.
Go for it.
But yeah, no, very very fun side characters. Yeah, I mean those are his fingerprints.
Yeah.
Also, I think a lot of the camera work, like the general look and feel, very Shyamalan. You're watching this and you're like, yeah, this is a Shyamalan. The pacing, yeah, this every Shyamalan fingerprint is there. You got the whole like lineup. You got all the fingerprints on it. Okay, go.
So I'm just gonna read to you part of my Letterboxd review real quick. I gave this movie 3 stars, by the way. I said in my review, "In the common room at my seminary, there were pictures of famous actors playing priests in various movies. Right between Bing Crosby and Robin Williams was a picture of Mel Gibson. I always wondered what movie that was. I did not know that it was signs. We had a picture in my seminary in like the common room where we would like hang out, and that's where like the coffee machine and the toaster and stuff was. There was a picture of Mel Gibson on the wall dressed as a priest, along with like a whole bunch of other actors who had played priests at different times. And I had no idea. I did not know it was this movie. And he's married, which is not unheard of for a Catholic priest. I actually know a couple married Catholic priests. I know more priests who have left ministry than I know married priests, though. I know 6 priests who have left the ministry after being ordained. But they get a lot of priest stuff beyond the being married and like having a family and stuff things. They get a lot of the priest stuff right, like the way people talk to you and the way people treat you. That was creepily accurate in a lot of cases. It was like, I have had these conversations multiple
You've been
times.
in line at the pharmacy and they try to do confession at you.
So like that, the only weird thing about that
coffee
was
shop, not pharmacy, but
if it were confession, she would have asked to like go in the corner or something.
yeah.
But having someone just start telling you about their problems is a very normal experience for me. That's something that happens frequently. Is you just meet someone for the first time and they're like, "Hey, I just need to tell you about all this stuff going on," and it's a beautiful thing to experience that, but also that is happening to Mel Gibson's character, like as he's having this crisis of faith and definitely doesn't want to be here. But I think choosing Mel Gibson specifically as the actor for this character actually lent a lot to it. So Mel Gibson is from my perspective, famously, I don't know how many people are like actually aware of this. I think it's common knowledge, but I could be very wrong about that Mel Gibson is like an uber traditionalist Catholic.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I have always known him to be like, he's known as like a very hardcore religious like person in the entertainment industry, which is like relatively like, so he sticks out in that way. I don't know if I could have told you that he is like, you know, specifically Catholic or not. Like,
so he's not just Catholic.
I feel like the general impression.
He is too Catholic for Catholics. He's like
that
super
right.
strict.
You tell me that and I believe you right away.
Yeah.
Very, very strict. Now, I'm not going to make any sort of comments on his behavior of the last decade or so. I'm not saying he's a good example of what Catholicism looks like, but he is very serious about it. Like when I was in Gettysburg, he would come to Gettysburg fairly frequently. There is oh yeah. So there is a Carmelite monastery that's currently under construction near Gettysburg because there were so many Carmelite nuns joining this community. They had to build a bigger monastery. Traditional Catholicism is growing rapidly. I don't know if you know this. Lots of young people are coming into it. But they had too many nuns, too many young nuns in like their 20s coming into this community. They had to build a new monastery. And so Mel Gibson is like a major contributor to the building of this monastery. He's paying for a lot of it, which I think that's cool. So he would come and like look at the construction and stuff. But these nuns specifically, their community, they do all their liturgies in Latin. Like they are very, very traditional. Not stuff you would experience in like a normal parish church. Not at all. So like seeing Mel Gibson's face on this religious character, I think for someone who knows a bit about his like religious life added a lot to it, did for me. So it felt like really intentional that he was chosen for this role. And I think he has had lots of relationships with priests and was able to bring to the role his knowledge of clerical life. I think somebody else in the same role, it wouldn't have worked quite as well. I think the way that he like carries himself is very clerical. The way he speaks to other people is very clerical. I would wager that he even knows several priests who are no longer in ministry and like left ministry, because that portrayal was very accurate. Yeah. Like that, what that looks like, and the way that like a priest out of ministry who's been either left ministry on their own or were asked to leave, and I know both, like that kind of portrayal was very authentic, I think. He brought a lot to it. I knew he was from a large family.
So the Catholic credentials were checked.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I also didn't realize that I guess they established a special ambassador to Hollywood. I was looking on his page and I saw like assumed office and I saw like a government role. But he is a special ambassador to Hollywood alongside Sylvester Stallone and John Boyd. This is a new position they just made this year.
Oh, that's
For whatever that's.
How do you have an ambassador to a section of a city in your own country?
Well, I mean, obvious. Okay, you understand. It's like an ambassador to this particular industry. It's not like the section of LA called Hollywood.
No.
You know he means the movie
Hollywood
industry.
Hills, but no. I understand that. But you can just say it to the film industry. It's bigger than Hollywood. But anyway, we don't need to get into that.
I was going to say
we don't need to
that
get
has
into
some
that.
not so great. That particular
We're
group
not
of
gonna
people
get into
has some not so great political
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone,
affiliations.
John Voight, and Mel Gibson appointed by Donald Trump to be the ambassadors for the motion picture industry. It says something.
That
but we're
really,
not gonna say.
that's not great.
But I mean, I believe that.
Mhm.
I feel like he was like very great for this role. I thought he
Yeah.
did a good job, not with my layman understanding of not being
Literally.
a member of the cloth. But I mean, all around though, I feel like also Joaquin Phoenix is really good for like the younger brother that locks himself in the closet to like watch the cable news.
excellent.
I don't know.
He plays
I don't know
an unhealthily
what background he
obsessed,
has for that, but
like UFO hunter very convincingly. It was great.
There wasn't any casting in this that I wouldn't have agreed with. Like everyone kind of nailed it,
Yeah.
with the slight maybe exception of Shyamalan.
well, I was gonna say even the third most Culkin brother, pretty great for this role.
Yeah, I think he did a
Does
great job.
really good job.
Once again,
Did a great job.
I think M. Night Shyamalan gets really great performances out of his child actors.
Oh yeah. So yeah, definitely a Shyamalan fingerprint there, leaning heavily on these child actors.
Yeah.
And we've talked about. We should mention the girl is Abigail Breslin, who is like still a name that people like would recognize. This day. Like
Zombieland.
she was in Zombieland and Ender's Game, and like she still is acting like she's an adult. Sorry, not adult actress. She is a non-child. You know what I mean?
I didn't connect
She's
that.
still
for a
acting
bit.
in
That
movies
took
and
a
stuff
second.
as like a full. She has succeeded as an actress outside of being a child actress.
Yes.
Shut up. But okay, so speaking of going to walking in there a little
Yeah.
bit, so I don't think we're quite as opposite as I thought. I don't think when Hans was describing at the very beginning, I said like we're a little bit opposite. I don't think we're actually that opposite.
No?
What I just wanted to say though, what I was thinking, we agree on the ending. That a lot of movies
silly.
start strong and just kind of drag a bit and then like finish strong. That's kind of like the quintessential, like if a movie's going to drag, that's where it's going to drag. This one was very weird for me because it was like Inside Out.
Yeah.
Where the beginning, I'm like, okay, cool, sure.
Let's get
It
this
feels a
moving.
it feels a little bit like, I don't know, in the movie, some of the signposting is really bothering me.
Eh.
Like the absolute frame this kid is like breathing a little hard and pulls out an inhaler, I'm like, he's gonna be trapped without his inhaler and they're gonna struggle. And then like whenever he's in the army recruiter's office, which I love that scene, but in general, like he's in the army recruiter's office and the guy's like, you were a hitter, weren't you? You set the record, didn't you? And he's like, yep, still got the bat hanging on the wall. I'm like, he's
That
gonna
bat's
need to
gonna
use the
come
bat
Check off
later
that.
on. That's gonna factor in. So I was a little like, let's get moving. Once we got to kind of the second act, once it's like, wait a minute, what's going on with the aliens? And like, they're just watching the news. It's so funny. Like, I can tell you exactly when it happens. It's like Joaquin Phoenix is like, what's this dumb fucking kid shit about aliens? This is stupid. And then the second he like completely flips, so he locks in, he's putting on like the tinfoil hat.
Oh, yeah.
He's watching the TV. That's when I'm with him. I'm like sitting there. I'm locked in on the TV. I'm watching.
Yeah.
Like that whole middle chunk is great. And then he gets to the end and I'm like, okay. Kid needs the inhaler. He needs to hit him with the bat. All the water she's been leaving.
These are also like the dumbest aliens from any alien movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, okay, so this is the one thing I hadn't watched the movie. The one critique I knew about it, I mean, there's a couple critiques. The main one that you'd hear people, even if you haven't seen Signs, you've probably heard people criticize the fact that the quote unquote twist, the reveal at the end is that the aliens are like weak to water was dumb. Like
Yeah.
people had issues with that. Which one I'm not sure I entirely agree with, because like if humans could land a ship on Venus today, they would go to Venus, and literally Venus air is poison to us. So I think going to a planet that has large quantities of a thing that is poisonous to you is not entirely unrealistic.
Mhm.
No, okay.
Like,
Okay.
listen, let me finish.
Okay.
So the critique people had was that, what do these aliens go to a planet full of water if they're weak to water? My argument A is that. My argument B is they also seem to be weak to They also seem to be weak to
Doors.
getting locked in pantries and pantry doors and knives. You can cut their fingers off with a knife.
Yeah.
They also seem weak to knives and pretty weak to baseball bats. We didn't see anybody.
Their
try
reaction
a gun.
time is slow.
They might be weak to guns too.
But like,
Which, to be fair, that's my critique of the movie, is that this is set in like Bucks County. This is set in like rural Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
On a farm, and they
they
don't
definitely have a gun.
They don't have a
They
rifle.
don't have one shotgun. They don't have one rifle. So that's a
That
little.
doesn't track. Sorry,
Aaron, can I just say
Yeah.
something though real quick?
Absolutely.
You say like, oh yeah, that's not an inconceivable life form that didn't evolve or like start out on that planet, might be poisonous to something on another planet. But you don't go there in full force. Like they invaded the whole planet. The whole movie, the interesting part in the middle of the movie is them talking about how there's sightings and like the ships are invisible, but like a bird ran into the ship and dropped out of the air, so you know that the ship's actually there. And there are sightings of these ships and actual aliens walking around on the ground all over the whole world. The whole world, the entire planet is waiting for an invasion.
Yes.
And it's like, you didn't do a little recon? Our planet is mostly water. You didn't do any kind of like... I don't know. It's just...
I definitely don't want to like spend a whole lot of time criticizing this as science fiction, because it's not really a
because we
sci-fi.
could just keep going and going
It's
and going.
not really a sci-fi movie. That's not the point. The signs are signs of providence. Like, the signs for Mel Gibson are not the crop circles. I don't want to spend a long time criticizing this as science fiction, because it's not really science fiction. The titular signs of the movie Signs are not the crop circles. That's kind of like, I don't know. I think that's like film interpretation 101. That the obvious thing is not the thing that it means. So the only time that the word sign is used in the movie, I think the word only appears once or twice in the whole movie. And it is only used to refer to signs of the providence of God, of like divine action in the world. So for Mel Gibson, his character, Graham, Father Hess, by the end of the movie, spoiler alert, he goes back to ministry at the end of the movie. He finds
Spoiler
faith.
alert.
He
This
sees
far
signs
in.
of faith.
Yeah, good thing we didn't already say that in the recap of the plot.
So sorry, I was very distracted by how bad your audio was, and I didn't really listen to that part.
Damn.
But just my one thing about this as science fiction. Two things. One, I wish they never saw the aliens. I wish they left that like the only evidence they directly saw of aliens would have been like the crop circles and the news reports and stuff, but never actually had an alien show up, never had one trapped in a cupboard and chopped its fingers off or whatever. I wish that never happened. And two, it falls into like a really common sci-fi trope that aliens have invented space ships but not space suits.
They're just
alien is
really skinny, tall, gray guys.
the
don't have
alien
clothes.
is butt naked.
Or maybe that's its suit.
Like that is
It has like a retroreflective invisible suit. We don't know.
that
and
dissolves
it's just a really
in water.
crappy suit that does. Yeah.
Okay,
It's a really crappy suit
but
that
if you
doesn't
knew,
protect itself.
so we know that there are certain substances which are toxic to us, and so we protect ourselves against them
But hold on, I have a meme for
By-
this. I'm sorry.
by
Okay, to be
covering
fair,
ourselves in cloth most of the time,
to be fair,
or
fair.
other substances in extreme conditions, which I think going to another planet is an extreme condition, and water, one of the most abundant substances in the universe. You would be aware, if you can invent faster than light travel, you would know whether that just melts your skin or not. Yes.
One would think.
Zachary.
To be fair,
To be fair.
sounds like
fair.
somebody's not remembering the lessons they learned from the Andy Weir book Project Hail Mary.
That's
in terms of
that's what I have.
in terms of what aliens do and don't know. B, no spoilers. B, for humans, the vacuum of space kills us.
Yeah.
So we do wear suits to protect us from that, but also you could pretty easily damage a suit in a way where we would then be susceptible to the vacuum of space, and yet we still go to the vacuum of space.
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
I just wanted to be clear that my only critique of the movie itself is how do you have a farmer in rural Pennsylvania and there's not a single gun on the premises? That's a big one.
That does.
We're talking about
like
he literally
suspension of disbelief.
He doesn't know what to do with his life, so he walks in an army recruitment center. Even if the former priest doesn't have a gun, Joaquin Phoenix's character has a gun.
Also, so
to be clear,
Mel Gibson, his character doesn't curse. I only know 3 priests who don't curse, and I'm one of them.
Well, then it was written for you. It was written for you and 2 other people specifically. So my only critique of the movie is that they don't have a gun. They don't even try a gun on the aliens.
Completely unbelievable.
My critique is that the people that for years, and again, this isn't, I'm learning the same lesson. These are the same people that complain about why don't they ride the Eagles in Lord of the Rings. And you're like, the movie tells you the reason why they don't ride the Eagles.
Like, bad idea.
They tell you that. My complaint is the general cultural just osmosis complaints of the movie. I'm not critiquing the movie. I'm critiquing the people that say, oh, it's dumb they're allergic to water, because it's also dumb that they're allergic to pantry doors and knives and baseball bats.
But also, like,
did the army try any of those?
I think pantry doors, knives, and baseball bats are just like things that a physical being would be susceptible to. Being hit with an object is a very normal thing to...
my one weakness, being hit by something.
Like, physics doesn't change on... Like, the physics isn't different on different planets. Being hit with a hard object is going to hurt. Any organic... life form,
I'm pretty sure, but
will be susceptible to that.
A rhino that lives on planet Earth, you couldn't trap in a pantry. A rhino, if I hit with a bat, it might be annoyed, but it wouldn't I couldn't defeat a rhino.
No,
okay. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I have to stop this because you're both right. Aaron, you're absolutely right in that this the symbolism of this movie is more important than the actual sci-fi nature of it. But
which is why I didn't want to go down this rabbit hole that I'm currently just marching down because Zach wants to argue with me about the sci-fi.
No. But
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying I'm making a different argument.
I need you to also understand that what Zach and I are saying is that when you make a movie like this, yes, there is that thematic aspect of it, but you're choosing to make a movie about aliens, so you have to make a movie. You have to make it a sci-fi movie to some extent. The one that they chose to make, the alien part of it makes no sense.
Correct.
It took me freaking forever to find this stupid meme. I know this doesn't make for good radio, but I need you to both to look at it anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, hold up.
Well, this is a big one. This is a long one. This is a lot of reading, Hans.
Sick as hell guy made of rocks.
But this is this movie, right? Like this. We'll post this.
This is the Virgin Grey. Yes, the Signs does feature the Virgin Grey. It does not have the Chad Iridian.
We'll post a link to this in the notes of the episode. It's very good. If you haven't read Project Hail Mary, please read it. If not, I guess you can see the movie.
What did you think? Hey Hans, what did you think of the ending of Project Hail Mary?
I'm 78% of the way through it or so I haven't finished it. But I'm far enough along to know that this meme is very good and that you should read the book.
So you're not ready for the Ryan Gosling movie?
No, but I have a year for that.
So Hans recommended if you haven't read Project Hail Mary, you should read Project Hail Mary. Zach's recommendation, if you've started Project Hail Mary but you haven't finished reading Project Hail Mary, you should finish reading Project Hail Mary.
And my recommendation is that
I smugly recommend. I read it like a month ago.
My recommendation is that if you haven't read either Project Hail Mary or The Martian, read Project Hail Mary first.
Yes.
Then go read The Martian. Project Hail Mary, very good. I devoured that book in a week. I just munched right through it. It was very good. I liked it.
But The Martian, you devoured in a day.
The Martian took me 3 days. I crushed that book. I think Project Hail Mary, very readable. It was fun to read. I enjoyed reading it. The Martian is just a better book. Andy Weir knocked it out of the park on the first go. I don't know.
Maybe someone else will. My recommendation, if you think that reading a book that reads as though, if you think reading a book and you would be bothered by the fact that it sounds like it was written by the collective sum of Reddit.com, if that would stop you from enjoying the book, you don't read Project Hail Mary. But if you can survive that, you should read Project Hail Mary. No, to be clear, my complaint, I'm not making the exact argument that either of you are making.
Yeah.
My argument is that
we're allowed to have 3 different opinions.
when you
Or more.
trust, when you get your impression on movies from how the general public reacted to them in 2002, the general public reacted to movies in 2002 was very dumb. The general public reacted to movies in 2025 is very dumb.
Yeah.
Don't let like the cultural osmosis kind of vague impression of movies flavor what you think about them, because people are wrong all the time.
And that's what I did before I watched this movie. I thought this movie was bad because it had M. Night Shyamalan's name on it.
And you heard people complain about
It's
it.
pretty good. And it has M. Night Shyamalan's name on it. I gave it 3 stars. I don't think it's incredible. I think it's pretty good.
I think I would give it 3 stars.
I'm actually in a similar weird thing that I was with. Was it The Village or was it Lady in the Water?
I don't know.
I gave it 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it, and I was like, that was pretty solid. It was a little wonky at times, a little slow, but pretty solid. I think if I watch this a year from now, I might be like a science truther and give it just like straight 5 stars. Like,
I've been doing that with like every Shyamalan movie.
yeah, that I watched it, and like in that moment of watching it, I'm like, that was pretty decent. But then like 2 weeks later, I'm like, wait a minute. Was that art? Was that perfection? Was that cinema? So I think I'm in that. I'm going to give that little disclaimer that right now, it's 3.5 stars. Could change.
Yeah. When I rewatch it like 5 years
Probably
from
will
now,
change.
might be 4 stars.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to like revisit all these. I'm just going to sit down and do an M. Night Shyamalan marathon like 5 years from now. And it's going to be like Trap 5 stars, like Signs 5 stars, Lady in the Water 5 stars.
Beach That Makes You Old, 1 star.
That's still not 4.5.
3.5, I said.
Oh, 3.5. 3.5 is fine. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, After Earth and Last Airbender. I don't think they're going to get.
They're not going to go up.
They're going to get the reappraisal.
But I think
Signs has a staying power more than an in the moment power for me, at least.
I think that is kind of one of the strengths that I've discovered for me about M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes.
That
100%.
I will watch a movie, and so like I gave Trap 4 stars when I watched. That's my current rating for Trap on Letterboxd. My memory of it is 5 stars. Like the more like
we talk about it all the time.
We talk about it all the
There's been a
time.
single episode where we haven't recommended Trap.
It's very good.
Well, I also gave Trap 4 stars, and then the other day, I forget what it was, but I was like, I just kind of like needed like to put a movie on.
Yeah.
Like we weren't gonna like sit down and do a full on movie night. Just like, oh, what if I want to put a movie on? Very quickly, when I was running through the movies to put on, I was like, what if I just put Trap on again? What if I just do Trap? I could watch Trap again. Let's watch Trap again. I didn't. I forget what I put on. It wasn't Trap.
I think one of the fingerprints of an M. Night Shyamalan movie is that after
Sticks
you
with
watch it and you just let it stew for a little bit, your like the residual opinion of it just goes up.
That's
Sometimes.
But that's I think that's what people that's the controversial nature of these movies.
Yeah.
Like that I think that's what a lot of people miss. If you're not willing to actually let it sink in,
Yeah.
you miss it. You have to
if
meet it halfway.
Well, and it's not even like meet halfway. If you're just like a first impressions, only impressions, like walking out of the movie, that fucking sucked, and that's the last time you think about it. I get how you don't like a lot of these movies, but if you let it marinate, if you like put it in the crock pot and you put that slow cooker on, you might watch Signs and think that was pretty okay. And then 2 weeks later, you might think that was poetry. That was art.
So here's my challenge then. Here's my challenge to a listener. If you are the kind of person to watch a movie and you just like, that was good, that sucked. Like those are your two sides. I just want you to just go one step further. Why did it suck?
It was good and it sucked. Because that's M. Night Shyamalan's.
That is M. Night It is good and it sucked. It is, or it sucked and I kind of really liked it.
Yeah.
Like that was bad.
Well, because it's
like
old,
give
sucked,
me
but I
again.
kind of still liked
Yeah.
it. Signs was like, it was good, but still sucked. Like those there's a slight nuance between the two.
Oh yeah. He makes 2 movies.
That's a fine line though, because there are also those movies where it's a legitimate opinion even after you how do I say this? Your gut reaction can sometimes be right, i.e. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
But that's not really an M. Night
no,
Shyamalan movie, and we talked about that in that two-parter.
Yeah, After Earth is a Will Smith movie. Last Airbender is a live-action Last Airbender movie.
A bad one, but a live-action Last Airbender.
If we're looking at the auteur projects by Shyamalan.
Yeah, I would say if there's anything
That's fair.
that's
But it's
like,
just
if we apply this maxim to written, directed, and produced by
and not an adaptation
based on
of
like
anything.
original material.
Yes. Then yes, I 100% agree.
Yeah, I think it just like everything that I've seen. Okay, I'm going to say something really bold, and then you're going to help me walk it back. So everything that I've seen that is an original project by M. Night Shyamalan, written, directed, produced, based on his own ideas, not like a book or something, I'll watch it. I'll be like 3 to 4 stars, 3.5, 4 stars, somewhere in there. And then I'll just like accidentally think about it for the next month. And it just gets a little bit better. So like even The Village, which I wasn't super jazzed about and has some big problems with it.
Yes.
I just can't stop thinking about Joaquin Phoenix sitting on that porch professing his love in the evening mist. Like, it's such a good moment.
After like insulting this girl.
Yes.
But yes, of course I love you.
Yeah.
That's
so
I'm not
good.
even gonna have you walk that back. My thing is just we're gonna have to drill down and interrogate on the amount of qualifiers that you added to the beginning to make the sentence true.
Well, that's gonna be
so
our
if you're
wrap-up
saying not based on a
episode.
book or anything, that doesn't just disqualify After Earth. Well, because technically After Earth isn't based on a book,
But
that could technically fit into here,
After Earth,
but it would technically disqualify
I
Old
think
and
After
Knock the
Earth.
Cabin.
No, because After Earth was based on an idea from Will Smith and Jaden Smith.
Okay, but that's different than like adapting a book.
But, so I think like
So based on Shyamalan's
from
idea,
the
not
mind
adaptation,
of
the only
M. Night
problem is that
Shyamalan.
disqualifies Old and Knock at the Cabin,
so I
because
think
those are both based on books.
Old and Knock at the Cabin are amongst the Shyamalan projects that are like genuine Shyamalan projects. I think those are kind of his weakest.
So what you're saying is specifically, we haven't watched Sixth Sense or Unbreakable yet, but Signs, The Village, Lady in the Water, The Happening, not Last Airbender, not After Earth, but yes, The Visit, yes, Split, yes, Glass, no Old, no Knock the Cabin, yes, Trap. That was a really poor way of laying it out. But all the ones I said yes for, you're saying this is true. Could you say it again? It was what that you find yourself thinking about it still months later.
I find myself thinking about these movies just passively thinking about them, like a month later after watching it. And I enjoy the process of passively thinking about these. They stick around in the back of my head for a long time. What did I say? I said I'm going to say something really bold, and then you two are going to help me walk it back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could say I do that for Glass.
I think Glass is the weakest example of this, definitely. I
Yeah.
will 100% agree with that.
But yeah, Trap, I'll just think about Trap. I'll think about, she was burned. She was burned.
My friend
I'll think
got
about that. I'll think
burned.
about the way he just looks at like the PTA lady with like absolute disgust and like, that's pretty great. Okay, what about that?
When he looks at Lady Raven and just says, "You know what? You got me. Fair."
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Such a good
The Happening. Tell me about The Happening.
The Happening. So, okay, maybe there are 2 weak examples of this.
No, but I'm not disagreeing though. I think The Happening kind of fits this. The Happening sucks, but
The
The
Happening
Happening I will
sucks,
think
but
about, and I'll enjoy thinking about it.
I do enjoy thinking about it. Like
You like
Marky
hot dogs,
Mark
right?
walking around in rural central Pennsylvania and just like
Bumbletown, Pennsylvania.
having awkward conversations with strangers for like 2 hours. Like the jerk kid who gets blasted with a shotgun because he's like couldn't stop himself.
What, like the jerk kid that's banging on the door and the shotgun very slowly sticking out and pointing into
That's high
him,
comedy.
and then blam.
God, it's hilarious. But so you remember
No, 'cause that's-
these
yeah.
moments? They just like they
They
hang
stick with you.
out.
They're sticky.
They're very
not greasy.
sticky.
They're sticky.
It's the sushi rice of movie. It's like
It's It's the opposite of Seagal.
It's
Those
the
movies were
opposite of
greasy.
Seagal.
These are sticky.
Seagal makes greasy movies. M. Night
meant to
Shyamalan
watch and
makes
never think about
sticky
again.
movies.
Where even if you didn't love it,
Yeah.
you'll like a year later,
Yeah.
you'll be thinking about, Bryce Dallas Howard and the Narfs and the Scrunts.
Yes.
Like,
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think M. Night Shyamalan. This is dipping into like I think this is a conversation we need to have in like the wrap up episode, like a more in depth version of what we just had in the wrap up episode.
well, and this is a conversation we can't have until we watch Unbreakable and The Sixth Sense. Those are like the two most important movies.
I think about Unbreakable
for
a lot.
understanding the whole Shyamalan thing, and we save them for last.
I have seen Unbreakable like years ago. I think about Unbreakable. The more I'm talking this out, the more I think I agree with what I said.
You don't want us to walk it back.
I mean, you're probably gonna. I like to just go out there with some sort of bold idea, and you guys help me walk it back. I think that's how this has worked this season, from my perspective.
I mean, swing away, like
Swing away, Meryl. Right? It's exactly what the nerds want. That's where this line shows up.
oh my god, yes. I love it because he hates it so much. He thinks it's so dumb. When he locks in, it's great.
Well, because
Oh my
also
gosh.
this movie was made in a time where being a nerd that sucked. You don't want to be
that was
that.
actually an insult. Also, the idea that Joaquin Phoenix is like a cool jock that would make fun of the nerds is very funny. But that is truly for this movie, we can sit down and talk through the weird little critiques of how the aliens work. But really, I'm not even kidding. There is a solid middle 40 minutes of this movie where it's just Joaquin Phoenix sitting in the closet watching TV, and those images I could feel them being burned into my mind as I watched.
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna think about when he sees the alien first come on screen and he stands up and that was great. That was perfect.
Yes.
That's a sticky moment.
So good. Or hey, I mean, I don't want to dip into our wrap up episode, but the scene in The Visit where the boy finally tackles the old man, that will probably be burned into my mind forever.
I thought you were gonna say the poopy diaper scene.
Well, the poopy diaper scene is probably also
the poopy
burned
diaper
into
scene.
my head
The
forever.
poopy diaper scene is
Both of those
unfortunately
scenes
up
happen
there.
in the same room of the house where The Visit is being made.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think M. Night Shyamalan movies are very sticky. There are elements of them. I think the best elements of them kind of just float to the top, and that's what sticks around.
Yeah.
I tend to forget the stuff I didn't like about these movies. I have not rewatched Trapped since I saw it in theaters. I have the Blu-ray. I own the Blu-ray. I haven't watched it. I've only seen it the one time, and I gave it 4 stars, and I cannot for the life of me think of why I didn't give it 5.
Yeah, there's a reason not to give it 5. You should rewatch.
I should
Trapped. It's a
rewatch
fun
it.
movie,
Yeah,
but
I should.
It's not really a 5 for me. It's not a 5-star movie.
But that's kind of my point.
Thinking back on it often enough so fondly.
Yeah, I have
is
nothing
such
but
an
fond
important
memories of that
marker.
movie.
That's a 5-star experience.
5-star experience, 4-star movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how he manages this.
It's like a piece of taffy.
It's
Where it's not as good as other candy. It's kind of weak as far as candies go. But 40 minutes later, you still got some taffy to chew on. When that Reese's cup is long gone, you still got the taffy.
it's not Nanar.
It's not.
It's not.
Well, the happening is the nar.
But I think they're cousins. M. Night Shyamalan and Nanar
Christ.
films are cousins.
And sometimes they're first cousins, with
Yes.
the happening.
There's
Sometimes they're distant cousins, twice removed. with
yeah,
Trapped.
I think the experience of having watched a Shyamalan movie is sometimes better than the movie itself.
I think quite often.
So,
Yeah.
the experience of
Like,
having
if
watched
you-
a Nanar film, by definition, is better than the movie itself.
Well, because we've talked about this before,
Yeah.
that if you actually look at the Letterboxd ratings I give these movies, he is a very mid director.
fine.
There's a
He's okay.
lot of 3s and 3.5s. This should not be an exceptional director. But if you asked me what I thought, I would say I'm an M. Night fan.
I'm a big M. Night Shyamalan
I'd say I'm a fan.
Yes.
I enjoy watching his movies, and I'm a fan, even though the ratings don't reflect
No,
that.
not at all.
He's like hitting above his weight class somehow, and it's like you said, it's because I did find myself thinking while I was watching, I think both Lady in the Water and The Village, like I am looking forward to when I will have watched this movie, even though I'm not particularly enjoying watching it.
Yes, yeah.
I'm looking forward to I can think about that movie I watched, even if I'm like 40 minutes in and I'm like, oh, okay, geez, let's move it along.
It's actually incredible
people.
for movies with no subtext. There's a whole lot to chew on.
Yeah, these movies are, I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards, like every single one of them.
Yes. It's
That
But
quote
they are
could,
fun.
that quote could sum up this project, the M. Night Shyamalan project.
It's incredible.
But no, they do. It's a taffy. I'm still chewing on it.
It's still just hanging
years
out
later.
in there. I think I'm gonna have to spend some time thinking about exactly the way in which M. Night Shyamalan films and Nanar are like cousins. There's some
cells
sort
of
of connective
twins.
tissue there. I can't articulate it yet, but give me some time.
And there was a period there. Lady in the Water, The Happening, the Nary the twain met. They met a little too close. They were rubbing up on each other.
They
didn't leave room
kissing
for
cousins
Jesus
for a
there.
second. It wasn't
Yeah.
great, but
Yeah, they caught those cousins behind the barn, and you're not allowed at the family reunion for the next couple of years. Like it's better when they're distant cousins, but they're cousins.
So like Trap, distant cousins. So distant, it's camp. It's not Nanar, it's camp.
Yeah.
He straddles this world. He found something between camp and Nanar. And I
Well,
love
and to
it.
be clear, also, when we get to Unbreakable Sixth Sense, maybe there's also just a third straight up
Just
good.
straight up good movie.
That can be Camp Nanar and also just good.
Yeah.
Maybe he can do all three.
Maybe he can do all those.
Maybe he can do all those.
Yeah. But I think this movie is a
Science,
particularly good example of this thing that I just made up, which straddles the line between Nanar and camp.
Yes. Definitely my
good
favorite
movie.
camp.
It's like balancing on three legs.
Yeah. It does a slow burn tension really well. It
Yeah.
does genuinely have skill behind it. My favorite kind of camp thing is that they go into this random bookshop and find like crazy crank conspiracy, like poorly researched like hoax book on aliens, and it just ends up being 100% right, and they take what it says as gospel. Like there's no reason for that, logically no reason, but while it's happening, like
Oh, the little kids like
Just roll
making
with it.
tinfoil cone hats. Amazing.
well, and the little kids making tinfoil hats and Joaquin Phoenix being like, that's dumb. And then like they see the alien and like next scene, he's just sitting there next to them with the tinfoil hat on.
Bought
Like
in.
that beat, that moment when Mel Gibson walks in and he's sitting there with the hat on, like excellent.
Excellent.
Nailed it.
So good.
So this one really fluctuates. There's actual quality craft. There's camp. And maybe when you get to the end and the weakness and the alien's weakness is kind of just being weak to everything, that's Nanar. When the alien is just ever so slightly off screen and it's like a mystery and it's like Jaws, and like the less you see of it, the better. That's actually quality. And then when the alien's like, "Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm the alien." That's Nanar.
Yeah, you just get like a full body shot
alien
of
in
the
frame.
alien.
Hey, look at me.
Just kind of a generic,
Nanar.
lanky alien guy.
Although there is a shot there when you like see the alien like holding the kid, and like it's like camera and then alien in the foreground and like Mel Gibson in the background, and you see like the aliens like camouflage cells like just like mimic, like a little picture of Mel Gibson's face appears on the alien's arm. That was great.
That was pretty good.
If you could have that without having the whole 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after of that scene, that kind of little reveal, peek behind the curtain would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm an M. Night Shyamalan fan. I don't know if I can describe exactly why yet, but
Hi. Good to meet you all this evening. My name is Zach, and yes, I am an M. Night Shyamalan fan.
yeah.
I need to come clean.
I reiterate something that I said in the Avatar: The Last Airbender episode, which just released a couple hours ago. Hey, M, if you want to come on the show, I have some
Please come on the
burning questions to ask you. Like,
show. Hey, Joaquin Phoenix. I'm sorry. In a previous episode, I said that you have the posture of dirty laundry. Could you please come on the show? I want to talk to you. Could you please come on the show, please? Thank you.
please.
Which episode
Hey, Joaquin.
was that?
Whatever. He was in The Village, right? The Village.
Yeah.
Hey, Joaquin. Can you come on the show? I want to talk about Gladiator and Signs. And we're not going to talk. We won't talk about the Joker too. We can talk about your other movies. We won't talk about the Joker 2. You're good. I'm good. We're all good. Yeah. Although Hans will maybe want to talk about the Joker 2 because that's the only Joker movie he's seen.
What?
Which is insane.
What?
Which
I
is
didn't
psychotic.
know you didn't see the first one.
So
He
that,
did.
that weekend we went to see Megalopolis, which was
Yeah.
just
Great.
I
That's
can't
what it
wait
was.
I can't wait for the director's cut.
and then like the next day we went to go see. Zach texted me. It was like, you want to go see Joker 2? I said, yeah, absolutely. So we got to the theater and Zach said to me, he started explaining like, yeah, this is in response to community, blah blah blah. This is sort of like to poke fun at all the people that made the Joker their hero from the first movie.
Yeah,
and
don't
he
do
said,
that.
You saw the first one, right? And I said, no.
It's just there quite literally is not a single instance of a sequel, without exaggeration, using the most literal usage of this word, relitigating the first movie to have not seen the first movie and to go see this one. They are textually in the film relitigating the first movie.
Go to court.
That's the
I've not seen
entire
the second
movie.
one yet.
Oh,
I've
you
not seen
should.
Joker 2.
You should.
The Joker 2
It's
is,
ridiculous.
hey, you remember that thing from the first movie? Let's unpack that. The whole time, the whole 2.5 hours.
But like,
You know how
in
some
song,
sequels are like,
right?
oh, yeah. If you saw it, that's fine, but you don't have to have seen it. Like, that's fine. No. This movie assumes you saw and, like...
digested
That,
Yeah.
the first
that
movie.
you... Yes.
No, this movie is, hey, all you people out there that like really fell in love with that movie we made and really identified with the villain, even though he was the villain, you're idiots.
Which
Here's
is
a
what the
whole
first movie is
explaining
about,
why.
by the way. Like, I think that's pretty
Yeah.
explicitly the theme
Well,
of the first movie is like watered down.
If the
Dune.
Yeah.
If the first Joker movie is I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards, Joker 2 is I don't even know writers who use subtext.
But if I ever met one, I'd call him a coward.
But if I met one, I would shoot him in the face with a gun. That's Joker 2.
And if you didn't know, that means
It is-
that I don't like him.
Wait, so
I've seen Joker 1.
So
I've
Aaron's
not
only seen Joker
2.
1, and Hans has only seen Joker 2, not Joker 1. This little Venn diagram. Hey, Joaquin Phoenix, can we do like a Joker pod, actually? I changed my mind. Can we talk about the Joker movies? Aaron will ask you questions about Joker 1.
Yeah.
Hans will probably not ask many questions. He'll probably just laugh a lot.
It's my specialty.
And we'll get to the bottom of this whole Joker thing. But yeah, that's science.
That's signs,
I
I
guess.
guess.
That's science.
Uh,
Those are some signs, man.
I think the final moral of the story is that God is real. That's what I came away with.
The final moral of the story is that according to Mel Gibson, God is real. So take that how you will.
Hey, according to logic and reason, God is real. I can prove it if you give me. The next
I won't
hour.
disagree that. I won't disagree. I think the moral is, we all get our own signs from the universe, and it's up to us to interpret them. For Mel Gibson, that is him finding his faith.
I don't know. I think it's that God is real. I think that's the lesson that we learned here.
That's M. Night Shyamalan himself is looking to camera and canonically stating the Catholic God is the one true reality, and that's the impression I
You don't have
wanted
to
you
say
to get from
Catholic
my
God.
Alien movie.
There's only the one.
That's the impression I wanted
my
you to
God.
get from my Alien movie with Joaquin Phoenix in it, and the third Culkin brother. They're here to tell you that God is real.
Yeah.
Don't learn that from the Bible. Don't learn that from church. Don't learn that from your father. Learn that from science.
Well, so to
The
be a little bit
2002
more serious,
film.
I do think like the thing is that Mel Gibson's character had to have a personal experience of providence in order to have true belief in God. He knew all the Bible stuff. That
Yeah,
is not
no,
what
see,
leads
okay,
to
see,
faith.
yeah.
His faith was predicated on a personal experience of providence, of science.
No, okay. See, I like that. That's fair. Dang, I didn't even talk about at all how much this reminds me of War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise one.
Yeah,
the
I didn't
most
even
recent,
think about that until you said it, and now yes.
Yeah, the whole this.
I've never seen that.
Oh,
So yeah.
I recommend it. It's not amazing, but you should go watch it. It's kind of a classic.
Just to be clear, you should watch the 2005 Steven Spielberg Tom Cruise War of the
Yes.
Worlds, not the 2025 Ice Cube Amazon Prime War of the Worlds.
That one, I've not watched it. I'm not going to watch it. It feels insulting. Its very existence
No,
is kind of an insult.
that one you are going to watch because that will be a Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh, are you
I'm
gonna
not,
make us
I'm
it's
not
my
watch that?
familiar
if-
with this either.
if-
Hold on.
If
What?
it's my dying breath, it will be a I've posted about it in this chat like 5 times.
Oh, interesting.
No, it's not.
No, with my last dying breath, this will be
I
a
didn't even know
Chronicles
that
of
this was a
Narnia
thing.
episode. Hans,
This is a
You
4% on Rotten Tomatoes.
do you not look at any? Do you not look at any of the messages or links or Twitter?
The
posts that I
tagline is,
send?
"It's worse
I
than
look
you think."
awesome. I must have missed one. I'm sorry.
You didn't see all the ones about War of the Worlds. Hey, Hans, can you look up War of the Worlds, the 2025 War of the Worlds on Letterboxd? Hey, Hans, are you looking it up?
I am.
Embarrassing.
I think this is literally the first Letterboxd movie I've seen with a straight 1 star. Like normally it's 1 point something. It's like 1 point something.
1 star.
How do you get to 1?
Amazon Prime will literally save us from aliens and big government. Thank you, Jeff Bezos.
Well, also, so Aaron, you pointed out the tagline. It's worse than you think. On Letterboxd, the tagline they list is "Your data is deadly."
What?
Wait, what's
this
the
one, the
tagline?
alien-
What was the tagline
aliens
you
come
said,
here
Aaron?
to like harvest our data. Or
It's
something.
worse than you think.
It's worse.
That
than
is
you
one of
think.
the taglines for like a
Yeah.
trailer that I saw.
That sounds the description of the movie and a tagline.
That's they knew what they were doing.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
worse than you think.
A lot of people refer to this as like a post 9/11 movie, and they talk about how it's responding to 9/11.
I don't
which
think it is.
I objectively don't think it is because they started filming, like 9/11 happened while they were filming.
Yeah.
They were like well into production when that happened, so I don't think it's fair to say that this movie was made in response to 9/11. War of the Worlds 2005 starring Tom Cruise definitely was.
That is definitely
That is a
yes,
9/11 movie.
a 9/11 movie.
That is the
straight up and
9/11
down.
movie. That is what if 9/11 but aliens.
I
That is a
think
9/11
The
movie.
Village is the closest thing we've gotten. We explicitly talked about it
Village
in that
is
episode.
definitely-
The
yes.
closest we've gotten
Yes,
to an M. Night
that's
Shyamalan
9/11
9/11 movie.
Which, to be fair, everyone gets one. Shyamalan, you're allowed to do a 9/11 movie.
Yeah.
That's fine. But if
It was
you
9/11.
are
You get to
thinking-
do a 9/11 movie. Every artist had to
Yeah.
do something about 9/11.
It was the early 2000s. It was
Yes.
in vogue. Even superheroes were doing 9/11. So that's fine. Signs is not. If you think Signs is a 9/11 movie, it's not.
No.
War of the Worlds, which is a lot like Signs is.
Yes.
We should, Hans, so you've never seen War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise?
No,
Hans, you gotta watch War of the Worlds. That's a fun movie.
I know.
And I know I just said this is a 9/11 movie, and then I said it's a fun movie. Like,
I'm still just going down through the Letterboxd reviews on 2025 War of the
Stop.
Worlds.
wait, hold on.
This
I just realized.
Here we go. Here, just listen. It was perfect. Perfect. Everything down to the last minute details. Half a star.
Yeah, that's about right. So, yeah, we're gonna do a. We got to do a War of the Worlds 2025 Chronicles of Narnia. I'm sorry, Aaron.
Honestly, yeah. I'd be okay with that one.
Actually, do we want to do that for our next before we hold off on delay the good stuff like one more week and do War of the Worlds?
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I think because there's so much connective tissue here, it might be worth it.
Yeah, like while the aliens are fresh in our minds.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds for next week, yeah.
No, what I just he said that so mad. Aaron said that so dejectedly, so sad. War of the Worlds for next week.
Maybe
agree.
one of the most evil movies ever made for a lot of reasons, but mostly for glorifying Microsoft f***ing Teams. Half a star.
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, so Hans, you don't know anything about this?
No.
Oh, there's a fun little kind of gimmick to this movie that might surprise you.
Okay, I'm in. I'm ready. I'm into this,
This
now.
movie does a fun little framing device gimmick, so you'll see it.
Yeah.
But no,
War
what
of
I
the Worlds from
realized,
Team U.
Signs, 2002 science fiction horror film Signs, produced by Kathleen Kennedy.
Yes, I that's in my notes. Oh, we haven't talked about
War of
like
the-
favorite lines and stuff.
War of the Worlds, 2005 American science fiction action thriller film directed by Steven Spielberg, produced by Kathleen Kennedy.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I see it. I've
It's
unlocked
there.
the conspiracy.
There it is. It's Kathleen Kennedy.
Well, Fable-
That's the
It's
conspiracy.
Kathleen Kennedy all the way down. That's the conspiracy.
she made these movies and then ruined Star Wars. That was
Hey, don't get us pulled into that. No, I don't want to get no. Don't get us sucked into that.
I don't
I don't
think
want
she
anyone-
ruined Star
anyone
Wars.
to-
I don't think.
I don't want
Kathleen
anyone to
Kennedy
even
ruined
think
Star
that was
Wars.
even somewhat.
I don't.
serious.
That was a joke. That was a joke. I don't
was a
think
joke, that was
Kathleen
a
Kennedy
jest.
ruined Star Wars. I think J.J. Abrams ruined Star Wars. Anyway, that was also a joke. I think George Lucas ruined Star Wars.
George Lucas birthed and killed Star Wars in one fell swoop.
Yes.
I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say?
Sorry, I had to.
Oh, favorite line was obviously, "Why aren't you in the big leagues getting your toes sucked on by beautiful women?" That's
Actually,
the best line.
that was a very funny line. That's not my favorite line. My favorite line is, "Everybody in this house needs to calm down. Eat some fruit or something."
I do like that one. This isn't a favorite line, but there is actually a real emotionally raw moment in this film that hits like actually pretty dang hard whenever they think they're gonna die, so they're basically doing like their last meal together, and he's like, "Sure, you want spaghetti and tacos, whatever, I'll make that for you, and like you
that
want
one
cake
hurt.
for dinner, that's fine, I'll make it
Yeah.
for you." And then they just sit there and they're all at the table and they just start crying, and he's like, "Why isn't anybody eating?" And he just starts like mashing his fork into everybody else's dish and like eating off everyone else's plates. That actually, like, I feel like some people might have found that moment silly. No, that hit. That was real. That was real.
That
That was a good one. That was
for the
delivery,
first 5
execution.
seconds of that moment. I was like, "Oh, this is really uncomfortable."
Yes.
But because it went on a little too long, I just genuinely felt instead of being uncomfortable with the feelings
Yeah.
here. I'm like, actually, he let this scene go on long enough that I got over myself and just felt with the characters for a moment, and that was a tough scene.
Yeah.
but
That's a
very
that's just like a
necessary
good.
for the movie.
And that scene ends with him like he's just trying to keep everybody distracted, and he's getting angry about it, and then he breaks down, and they all just like start crying together. It's like everybody, no one can keep their minds off of what's happening. It works.
Yep. No, that's one that it's 100% in the execution, and it is like in the delivery, and like that was all that scene was gonna live or die. It was gonna work by like how they showed up to set that day and how they did it, and they nailed it.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Letterboxd reviews and seeing if there's any that I really want to share. Maybe.
I mean, there is at least the first review that I see under popular reviews is everybody who hates this movie needs to calm down and eat some
I
fruit or
liked that
something.
one.
So,
Yeah. One review that I saw by Haunted Hippie. This is exactly what the nerds want.
Yeah, so the best Letterboxd, this is kind of annoying, the fact that people do this for like every single movie on Letterboxd. Like, it doesn't always work, but this is one of those movies where your Letterboxd review, it can kind of just be a spin on one of the lines
Yes.
from this movie.
Yeah.
And it works.
That works for Trap too.
Yeah.
I would say that probably works for The Visit. You could probably take a line from The Visit and spin it into a review of the movie.
I don't know if I agree with that one. I agree with Trap.
Trap, I think it definitely works.
Trap, I think it definitely works. Trap 100%.
Why didn't more people like Trap?
These people are dumb.
It's so sad.
I just have one
People are-
final note that we haven't talked about yet.
Oh, yeah, go
Go
ahead.
for it.
When Mel Gibson tells his daughter to like stop what she's doing and come to dinner, what she's doing is watching Dexter's Laboratory. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I remember that
It was-
specific
it was
episode of Dexter's
2002,
Laboratory
yeah.
as well. Dexter turns himself into a bug, and his parents try to kill him. It's very
Can you
funny.
believe this is the second time we've talked about Dexter's Laboratory on the M. Night Shyamalan podcast?
Not at all.
You like hot dogs, right?
I will say, when I'm editing an episode, Hans's laugh is very satisfying wherever it lands.
Aw.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's like you can just like scroll out, see the whole timeline, and like spot all of them.
Well, because I know if I can see like the waveform for his laugh coming up, I'm like, oh, I need to make sure I like pay attention to this section
Yeah.
because something good's about to happen.
Well, it's also really good if there's like a moment that you have to cut. Like, if I'm trying to, if you're doing like one of your like Aaron 7 sentences to say one sentence, if I'm trying to say something, and then I just like, let me correct myself and like say this, and I realize I shouldn't have the wrong version, the correction, and the right version. I just want to have the right version, but you like can't. When you chop off the word, you're just missing the first syllable of it,
Yep.
no matter what you do.
Yep.
Like the Hans laugh is really good for helping to like paper over some of the edits.
Yeah.
Like you can just use that so you can't tell that the first half of a consonant from a word isn't in the recording.
Oh, hey, yeah. Hey, listener, if this makes it into the edit, you should know that in many of these episodes, there are whole sentences that no one ever actually spoke. Like, they're made up.
It's all a lie.
I made those up in the edit.
It's a composite.
I rearranged conversations. So the stuff that happened at the end of a conversation that you heard on the finished pod, that would have been the first thing we said. But then we spent like the next 20 minutes explaining it all. So I had to like flip that at the beginning to make any of it make sense.
Yeah, everything you watch, listen to, view is propaganda and is a lie, and trust nobody.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you should also know that I
The
put
signs are out there.
giant pauses between every clause of every sentence I say, and it is very annoying, even to myself. I shorten each of my sentences by like half.
Yeah, you just cut out all. I don't like to point out
me.
other people's
Hit
things
me.
because I'm self-conscious of my own
We
things.
each have
but
one.
But every single time Aaron gets to it, like when I have a section, the problem is you just need to cut out the parts where I'm like talking over myself and mumbling and everything. With Aaron, what you just need to cut out is, so I have this thought and I want to talk about it. I think it's really important to say. And so I'm going to say it. So you can, but that's easy. That's an easy, honestly, that's not a problem. So that's the easiest thing to make. You can just
They just
boom,
Get
boom.
rid of all
get
those
rid
little
that.
gaps
Like,
and
done.
useless
Get rid of-
clauses.
yeah.
no of all of them.
So
that's
I
the
don't
easiest.
I won't even sit and listen through what Aaron's saying. I'll see that it's an Aaron section. I'll just
I do that to
chop,
myself,
chop, like cut out the
100%.
silences
I do
and
the
then
exact
just listen
same
through
I've
it.
done that
You
to
just chop
myself.
out
And then
the
it's
silences.
perfect.
I can just
It's
see
fine.
the
I can, like,
waveform
edit
out
without
ahead.
even hearing it.
I'll just cut out all the, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'll just cut out all
Yeah.
the silences, stitch it together. Sounds like a normal human sentence at the end.
You can just edit Aaron by visuals alone, which is
And that's
very funny.
That's why it's the easiest. And you say like it sounds like a normal. At least yours sounds like a normal human sentence. Trying to edit anything I say, I get ahead of myself. Like I start to talk without actually knowing what I'm going to say, and I get 30 seconds in, and I have to like stop, start over. Let's try that again and try to make it more sense. And it's hell.
See, for me, the thing with Hans is like somewhat similar, but it's less critical. My problem with Hans is he'll do that to some extent, but you'll still like, you're like, no, I can make this work. Like I can,
Just
like
power
maybe,
through.
well, no. That'll be like, oh, maybe he had to recollect his thoughts and he restart. Like there's a way you
Oh.
can edit this and it sounds totally fine. It flows perfectly good, but then he'll finish talking and be like, just cut
Yes,
all that out.
yep.
That was useless. Just chop it all
Yes.
out. And I'm like, no, there's good stuff there.
So
You just get rid of the
many
part where you
times.
had to like reconfigure. That's fine.
So many times I've cut out Hans.
But he's like,
telling me
just
to
cut out the
stuff
last
out.
30 seconds.
I've just kept what he said and cut out the part where he told me to cut it out.
Yeah, like slight edits and it's good.
Zach, I
That's
honestly
mine.
still haven't figured out how to edit Zach because
Yeah.
you will
same.
change an idea in the middle of a syllable. So like I'm like I have to figure out how to make this sentence make any sense. Changed his idea in the middle of a word.
And what would be great is if it was just a slight change, but it'll be like the opposite.
Yes. And your inflection is
I'll be like-
completely different, so I can't just like mush some words together. Like you're speaking at a completely different pitch.
They're like recorded in different settings. Like this one was recorded in Alabama, like in the middle of a field, and then halfway through the sentence, I'm recorded like in Times Square, like
Oh.
like you're in different zip codes between
Hey,
words.
listener, I really need someone to subscribe to the Everything Plus tier so we can pay an editor because I don't want to do this. I've done it
Yeah,
so many
apparently
times.
we don't. I get if somebody if I'm reading the news correctly, we don't owe any taxes on any Patreon subscriptions. So now's the time. Go ahead
Yeah.
and subscribe to the.
Yeah, digital content creators are specifically included in the no tax on tips clause. That's us.
Yeah, we got tips.
If we got tip, we get like
Wow, we are
$2.50 in tips.
horrible
every month.
SEO. Did you know if you search for us, we like literally don't hold on.
What?
We are horrible SEO. NOEUBRE.
Well, no one knows how to spell oeuvre. I get it wrong frequently.
Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, I just typed it wrong 4 times. I'm looking for the Patreon. Here we
That'll do it. Whoops.
Garbage.
Garbage.
$3.13 a month.
Yep.
So we we killed our SEO because we used a French word in our title and no one knows how to
there's
spell
that
it.
one right there, actually.
And we just actively make fun of it, of everything.
Yeah.
Wait, we have like comments on Patreon posts.
Wait, what?
It's mostly Isabel.
Since when?
No, that's a bad thing.
Okay.
Oh, that's not
Yeah,
a bad
yeah.
thing. Comments
But
boost
it's
engagement.
just funny. I didn't even know you could comment on. Hold on.
We should probably
The
make
Ron's
more
Minutes
Patreon
application has
posts.
3 hearts and a comments. See membership options. Come see membership options, and it just says everything plus. And everything plus is recommended by creator.
Such a good bit.
Yeah, if you subscribe to the Everything Plus tier, someone else, a 4th person, will have to learn. We'll give them the Spark Notes. We'll give them the summary of like, here's our weird little quirks. With Aaron, don't even put the headphones on. It just
You don't even have to know what I'm talking
good.
about. You can just cut out those
You're good.
blank sections in between every clause.
Hans, you just have to cut out the part where he's telling you to cut out what he just said.
Yeah.
It's very ironic. Zach, I don't even know. I don't even know where to cut.